we're just walking through this landscape and talking about the vegan movement and animals' role in landscapes and in the environment. I mean, the reality is in these sort of extensive areas, which would cover 90% of Australia, if there weren't ruminant animals there to process this grass, what happens with it? It oxidizes once it goes into stage 3. It goes into senescence and goes grey and starts to oxidize. You release carbon dioxide anyway, or it gets burned, or it has to be mechanically managed, which in this sort of environment is impossible. So yeah, you're back to burning or oxidizing. So when you look at the other side of the equation, while it maintains this green colour, it is actually photosynthesizing. It is not only sequestering carbon under the ground, but it is directly influencing the carbon cycle by having, photosynthesis takes in carbon dioxide and then releases oxygen. So there's two things, not just the sequestration, but also just the direct cycling. Animals are needed to maintain those grasses in that green state. If they're not there, or if you're not mowing it, it doesn't stay green, it oxidizes. So, the rules of thermodynamics state that, matter doesn't get created or destroyed, it just changes form. So we ran our figures through a carbon calculator the other day, and 93% of our emissions in a carbon calculator from our farms was from methane. Methane is a very short-term gas. Some say it's a 10-year half-life. I don't know where the data is, but it's possibly less than that. Others say it starts to break down immediately. It's not like carbon dioxide, which is released for hundreds of years from coal or something, or fire. And it's not like other greenhouse gases. It actually breaks down quite quickly, and it's needed by the grasses to stimulate them to keep this photosynthesis process going. So animals are needed to maintain the grasses are needed to maintain the cycling of carbon dioxide into oxygen. And green leaf cover is what cools or stabilizes climate. If you've got a desert that's all sand, you get extremes of hot and cold. If you've got grassland or multiple layers of green leaf cover, trees and shrubs and bushes and grass underneath, that's what maintains climate. So if this is really an argument about climate, the cow thing is a ridiculous part of it, because that's needed to maintain the landscapes. Where we are now got completely decimated by fire about 12 months ago. So not less than that, in October, November. So all the carbon dioxide was just lost. That doesn't count in a carbon calculator, by the way, nor does the processing of carbon dioxide into oxygen. So you start to look at where the real sources of massive amounts of carbon dioxide are coming from, and they're from either buried reserves of coal and gas and oil, and from big fires and burning. And how do we stop that? We use high densities of animal impact and keep these grasses in a green growing state. Anyway, I don't know I suppose people's ideas are just governed by what they've seen, and that's what I see. I can't see the other side of the argument at all, where it's better to grow a paddock of wheat or soybean and eat soy-based food because that gets rid of a cow. So that's just what I see.